You know, Parker, it's coming up on that season again.
My favorite holiday, President's Day.
No, it's one filled with more love and compassion.
Oh, like you would celebrate it. Come on.
Yeah, it's the time to pretend to love people to get cool things.
I mean, when you put it like that, I guess I do love Valentine's Day.
You know, you're a pretty cool guy, Parker. I'd like to hang out with you a little more often.
Really?
Nope, but give me $20.
Hello, and welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Parker Carlson.
And I'm Abby Perry.
So, Abby, time for eHarmony. All right, we're going to set you up a profile. How would you describe your perfect date?
Well, I'd have to say, like, staying in and watching a movie.
Ooh, what kind of movie would you say?
I don't know, like something that gets your blood pumping.
Like Justin Bieber's Never Say Never.
No, I was thinking something with more gore.
The Katy Perry Experience?
No, something bloodier and more bone-chilling wails from victims forced to choose their own fate.
Oh my gosh. Justin Bieber Rise to Fame?
No, I'm talking about Saw, which, ironically enough, Matt is talking about too. Matt?
A common feature of the horror genre is the long, seemingly endless amount of sequels that follow a popular release. One of the more modern and recent examples of this trend is the Saw franchise. Beginning in 2004, this series incorporates various scenarios where individuals are placed in the traps by the Jigsaw Killer, where they must make a difficult life or death decision that often ends in grisly results. Now, I don't think any of the Saw films are particularly great, but they can be a nasty fun time. There have been 8 installments so far. The most recent one, Jigsaw, was released in 2017. And like most horror franchises, as the series has gone on, the interconnected plots become more convoluted and confusing over time with various degrees of success. In this day and age, in order to survive, horror franchises have to keep evolving and doing new things to stay fresh and relevant. 2018's Halloween reboot/sequel is an excellent example of how to do this right. And this year, it looks like the Saw franchise might have its chance to prove its worth. This week, a poster and trailer dropped for the newest installment, Spiral, from the Book of Saw, which admittingly is a terrible name. At first thought to be a reboot, Spiral has been confirmed to be the 9th installment of this franchise. But the story for which this one is based off of was conceived by none other than Chris Rock. Yeah, you heard me. Comedian Chris Rock is reviving the Saw franchise, which is equal parts confounding and exciting. If the past few years have taught us anything, it's that funny actors can make some solid horror films, like Jordan Peele with Get Out or John Krasinski with A Quiet Place. Now, Rock didn't write the screenplay or direct the film, but he is starring in it as the main detective who is investigating a string of murders that is very reminiscent of the Jigsaw killings earlier in earlier years. The trailer sets up the main story well, and it weirdly doesn't look or feel like an upcoming Saw film. It has more in common with Seven than Saw. There are a few callbacks to the previous films and brief glimpses of 1 or 2 traps, but it overall does a great job of not showing too much and building intrigue while also trying to be its own thing. It also helps to have Samuel L. Jackson yelling and cursing in the way that only Sam could do in your trailer. And the poster that they dropped is absolutely gorgeous. Like the trailer, it doesn't show much, but the use of color and the very simple design is just very beautiful. It's a poster I wouldn't mind hanging up on my wall. You know, if the movie is good. Now, I never thought I'd be genuinely excited for a new Saw film, but here we are. What they've shown so far is very promising, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Chris Rock and co. have done to revitalize this franchise. Now, I'm gonna go and keep my expectations a bit low considering the franchise's track record, but consider me very optimistic for Spiral, and no, I will not say from the Book of Saw, it is dumb, and I refuse. As always, I'm Matthew Simmons, and thanks for watching.
Thank you, Matthew. Now, we know that Abby's perfect night in is with Saw, which actually explains a lot about her attitude towards those yellow pill-looking things.
Minions? No, I actually really like Minions.
Yeah, that's my point. Only a sociopath loves Minions.
That's not true. Facebook mom groups love Minions.
So you're a boomer. mom now.
No, I'm just giving you more options. Doesn't mean I'm one of them.
Okay, boomer. Whatever you say.
Excuse you. Did you just call me a boomer? Do you know how disrespectful that is?
Okay, boomer.
You dang millennials. Or is it Gen Z? Anyways, you're all obsessed with your TikToks and your grapevines and your hydro flasks. Am I doing that right? Yeah, hydro flasks.
Okay, boomer. You know who else is booming onto the scene with minions in tow? It's Marcos. Take it away.
Just when we thought that we would see the eventual end of the Facebook Mom Minion posts, Illumination came back with another trailer to dash our dreams. Hi, I'm Marcos Carranza, and buckle your butts, folks, because the other day, Illumination Studios released the trailer for Minions 2, The Rise of Gru. The trailer follows a young Gru played by Steve Carell, of course, on track to becoming a villain, but he isn't exactly what the board of villains that he is interviewing for is familiar with. The trailer then cuts to Gru stealing an artifact from the board, with a chase for Gru and the artifact ensuing. The trailer leaves the audience hanging by showing that the minion, Otto, has lost the artifact because he traded it for a pet rock that he fell in love with. The film is slated to be released in July of 2020, and it looks funny enough, I guess. I realize the target audience is for children and those who have to watch the movie with children, but I just can't stop wondering who asked for more minions. The original Despicable Me came out in 2010. I was 11. This really wouldn't bother me if we hadn't been getting a new sequel or prequel to the series every 2 or 3 years for the past decade. The minions are inescapable. Since 2010, we have been consistently exposed to these, frankly, terrifying little yellow creatures. Minions are on shirts, they have toys, and a whole movie dedicated to their lore, but what I truly think is most despicable of all is that they have essentially taken over Facebook. That's right, folks. Steve Carell's character, Gru, truly is a supervillain. I'm sure you can name a handful of adults in your life right now that are guilty of sharing minion memes unironically. I'm telling you now, look at the stats. This is what drove all the young people to Instagram. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the Despicable Me franchise, I will admit that the occasional minion boomer meme gets a solid chuckle out of me. I especially find it funny when the older people in my life share minion memes that are clearly just two franchises mashed together. Like, how does Duck Dynasty and the Minions together even remotely make sense? I couldn't tell you, but the boomers really don't seem to even notice. The real upside to the constant barrage of minion propaganda is that after a steady plateau from 2008 to 2010, banana sales have been consistently growing over the last decade. Circling back to Minions 2, The Rise of Gru, feel free to take your kids, younger cousins, grandparents, or the collection of bananas you've been buying lately to see the film. I'm sure it'll be fun and lighthearted like the originals, but please, for the love of God, don't let the minion memes continue. I'm dying. That's all I've got this week. I'm Marcos Carranza, and I'll catch you later.
Thanks, Marcos. After listening to your segment, I feel at least 30 years younger.
Yay, you're not a boomer anymore. I just couldn't take it much longer. Okay, back to our Valentine's Day quiz. Okay, what's your love language?
Words of affirmation. I love when people shower me with compliments.
Good answer.
I know. So why are we asking so much about me? Let's talk about you for a minute. All right, so what's your favorite superhero?
Ooh, good question. Batman. No, wait. Superman. Hold on. Maybe it could be.
How about we just say it's Iron Man? It's easier.
Sorry, did you? Marvel? No.
Wow, are you the boomer now? Looks like you're in for a bad time since Nate is here to talk about all the latest Marvel TV shows coming up.
Does say Marvel.
Nate?
During this past Super Bowl, Disney Plus and Marvel Studios surprise dropped a 30-second ad showcasing 3 of their upcoming MCU-based shows, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki. Well, there have been plenty of Marvel TV shows before, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, Agent Carter, Inhumans, and The Runaways. None of them were officially canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and none of them were seen under the supervision of Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige. In order for these shows to stay true to the franchise, these shows will have movie-sized budgets, and the budgets will certainly be shown on screen. The first show in this new era of Marvel is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is debuting on Disney Plus in August and will find Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan reprising their roles as Captain America's best buds Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes. Also returning for the show is Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter and Daniel Bruhl as Captain America Civil War baddie Helmut Zemo. And the show will also introduce a new character to the MCU, that being John Walker, aka US Agent, a more egotistical version of Captain America, who will be played by 22 Jump Street and Overlord star Wyatt Russell. I have to say, from the small amount of footage we've seen from the show, and from all the reports going around, this feels like it could be in a much similar vein to Captain America the Winter Soldier, which I'm personally all in for. The second show on the schedule is WandaVision, which is debuting in December and will feature Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany returning as Wanda Maximoff and Vision, along with Randall Park and Kat Dennings reprising their roles as Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis from Ant-Man and the Wasp in the first two Thor movies, respectively. The series will also be introducing some new cast members to the MCU, that being Tiana Paris as Monica Rambeau, who we saw as Little Girl in Captain Marvel, and Katherine Hahn as the currently unnamed Nosy Neighbor. The show is being described as part classic sitcom, part MCU epic. Out of all the shows showcased in the Super Bowl spot, WandaVision looks the most promising. It looks like a breath of fresh air in the MCU, and looks like it will actually be brave enough to get weird and trippy in ways that we haven't seen the MCU do before. Sure, movies like Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2, Thor Ragnarok, and Doctor Strange were certainly different and quirky, but WandaVision seems to be on a whole other level. The last show showcased on the Super Bowl spot is Loki, which is scheduled to debut in early 2021 and will feature Tom Hiddleston returning as Thor's adopted brother and the God of Mischief. Not a lot is known about the series other than that it will feature the Loki from the timeline created in Endgame, fresh after the Battle of New York, traveling through time using the Tesseract, creating chaos wherever he pleases. The show will also feature Sophia Di Martino and Owen Wilson, wow, and in undisclosed roles. The brief appearance in the Super Bowl also hinted at the inclusion of the Time Variance Authority. Other MCU shows in the works for Disney Plus include Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld, the animated What If, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. I'm extremely curious to see how all of these shows turn out in the end and their effect on the MCU as a whole. And we'll see soon enough. Until next time, I'm Nate Richard.
I'm obligated to say thank you, Nate. Very well spoken as usual, but I hate Marvel, okay?
Jeez, Parker, I'll say it for you. Thank you, Nate. You did a wonderful job.
Okay. Final eHarmony question, number 3.
Okay.
What attracts you to people?
I don't know, being Ashton Kutcher.
Okay, that makes 1, but I'm still gonna need 12 more reasons.
13 reasons. Why?
Well, that's why Anastasia is here to tell us. Anastasia?
Netflix has recently been on a canceling spree, where shows such as Spitting Out, Mortal, and Soundtrack have all been to the chopping block. There are some people upset by this, but these have only been on for 1 season and never had a big following, even when these shows were in their prime. However, there is one show that has been canceled that has already been on for 3 seasons and has 1 more in production, and that is the infamous 13 Reasons Why. Love it or hate it, 13 Reasons Why has been in the spotlight with controversies since its premiere in early 2017. Topics such as sexual assault, suicide, and school shootings are all depicted on screen. Plenty of people have come forward to raise their voices against these controversial scenes, but the only time Netflix has done something about these complaints was in regard to a scene where Catherine Langford's character Hannah commits suicide in the 1st season. Netflix removed this particular scene, but has kept others that are just as gruesome, if not worse. As to why 13 Reasons Why was canceled, a Netflix spokesperson said that Series 4 will feature the core cast's graduation from high school, which will be a natural conclusion to the show. This is the sole reason that Netflix has decided to stand behind, despite the fact that for years viewers have called for the show to be canceled. Netflix didn't even entertain the idea to cancel the show, even after a study was conducted that linked the popularity of 13 Reasons Why and teen suicide. Research showed that there was a spike in teen suicide the month following the show's release in people aged 10 to 17. Media outlets need to recognize the power their content has over their viewers, specifically younger ones, and take into account the ramifications of their actions. Instead of just milking shows until they're less likely to be profitable, maybe corporations need to see how detrimental of an influence their products can be to their audience. Before corporations see the dollar signs, maybe they need to see the actual people in their audience. And that's it for me. I'm Anastasia Scott.
Thank you, Anastasia. I guess we're going to have to make you the third reason why I love Real Deal.
Ooh, what are the first two?
The hosts, of course.
Oh, me? I'm included in that. Oh.
Nah, I liked working with Noah, though.
Every Valentine's Day, it's just filled with heartbreak. I guess we should just move on to our final word.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. What are the most formulaic series in media? Marvel movies, you say? Yes, you're not wrong, but not the answer I'm looking for. I'm looking at travel shows. How do they typically go down? Well, it starts with, hi, I'm insert generic host name here, and today I'm at insert generic tourist trap here. Then they walk around the city / countryside for like 30 minutes with quick cuts of the host subtly talking about how weird or wacky other cultures are. There's a couple shows here or there that break the mold, but largely, let's be honest, that's the standard. Which, this is all one long-winded way to say that I'm glad I watched Amazon's latest, James May, Our Man in Japan, and I think you should too. Personally, my favorite travel show is, strangely enough, Top Gear / The Grand Tour, whichever one they go by, which is the reason why I watched the show in the first place. On their specials, they would travel around the globe and give a ride of their cars through a country, oftentimes showing them the side that the Travel Channel never would. Thankfully, Amazon took the most host-like of the group, James May, and pulled him out of the car to give him an actual in-depth exploration of a specific culture. As the title suggests, this travel show isn't the one episode and we're leaving the country type. It's an entire 8-episode long miniseries where James May travels from the top of Japan's upper island, Hokkaido, to the southern islands around Shikoku. I think this extensive look into Japan is pretty refreshing for a travel show. Instead of just showing Tokyo or Kyoto, they show some of the other places often neglected by travel shows. I personally have never seen before how varied Japan's environments can be, from snow wonderlands to tropical beaches with everything from sprawling urban cities to empty villages with hardly no living residents but populated by creepy life-size dolls. Even on the other side of the world, that still creeps me out. Besides highlighting how great Japan can be, James May shows a lot of respect when exploring their culture. He's a very well-spoken host at times, even smart enough to learn the most important Japanese word, sumimasen, which translates to sorry, and he says it constantly. The show brings in locals from whichever region they're exploring that episode, which provides a nice back and forth between them and James May. And oddly enough, they even have the crew following them around pop in from time to time. I don't think I've ever seen a travel show host interact with their camera crew as much as James May does, and I think I like it. So once I finished all 8 episodes, instead of saying, that was pretty good, like I do with all other travel shows, it actually got me wanting to buy a plane ticket to Japan right now and go. If I finish a travel show and want to find out more about that particular country's culture, it clearly did a very well job. And I think that a lot of the credit goes to the host, James May. I highly recommend James May, Our Man in Japan, to anyone who just wants an easily digestible show to pick up quickly. It's yet another tick for the tally of Amazon and their great original shows. So at least our corporate overlords throw us something nice every once in a while. What about you, Abby?
You don't have to ask me. I'll go to Japan with you, Parker. Jeez. Okay, so this week I decided to revisit a topic that I love talking about, but I haven't had the chance to talk about in a while, and that's YouTube. I could watch YouTube videos all day and all night. There's so many content creators putting out content to enjoy for hours. 2 creators that are extremely well known are Kian and JC. Now, this duo has recently transformed YouTube content, bringing reality TV to the platform. They are on the 2nd season of Reality House. This show brings in a group of content creators or social media influencers, and they live in a house for a few days with no phones or anything, competing in challenges and voting each other off. The last one standing wins $50,000, so basically a bougie version of Survivor. The show is super entertaining, and I don't even know some of the contestants on season 2, but I'm totally invested. Sure, some of them truly get on my nerves, and a lot of them complain way too much about nonsense things, but I can't get enough. Of all the creators this season, my favorite has been Harrison Webb. He ended up losing a challenge and going into elimination, though, which led him going home. But here's the tea. He didn't deserve it at all. Here's the story. Kian and JC messed up. In the challenge, they asked him what the longest river was, and he said the Nile River, which they told him was wrong. It's not, resulting in him going into the elimination challenge, losing, and then going home. When the video came out, people went crazy, telling Kian and JC that they were wrong and Harrison didn't deserve to leave. This is where it gets tricky, though. The show was recorded a while back, and bringing him back and just saying, oopsies, is impossible. So to fix it, Kian and JC made a video apologizing to Harrison and guaranteeing him a spot on season 3. This didn't sit super well with a lot of fans, and a lot of them wanted them to bring him in mid-season or at the end since he made it this far in season 2. Harrison seemed satisfied enough, though, in his response, and he added a bit of humor and made things seem a little bit better. I think this goes to show that the big competition shows such as Survivor and stuff like that are hard to repeat because of the huge production value. As much respect as I have for the YouTube world, I think this needs to be kept in mind. It's not easy to create a television show. Mistakes are going to happen, and I hope they're more careful in the future. Despite the spoilers I just gave and the drama surrounding it, I do actually recommend watching The Reality House to see if your favorite creators have what it takes to win. Even if they aren't on it, watching to laugh at the drama and get entirely too invested is so fun.
Man, YouTube is just getting bigger and bigger every day. There's something new.
It really is.
That's all from us, folks. If you want more from us here at The Real Deal, check out our Facebook, Twitter, and website for all things entertainment. I'm your host, Parker Carlson.
And I'm Abby Perry. We'll see you next time on The Real Deal. Tonight. Are we good to go? Okay.
That's the cold open for the cold open.